to Man Hour NFL Talk, live, raw, uncut NFL Talk. Head over to manhourradio.com, manhour.co, NFLtoday.co. We got a great speak, guys, over today. Overreaction Tuesday. We're going to talk about the Raiders and Chiefs. The rivalry is starting to get renewed. Nick Chubb, cap casualty. What? Nick Bosa, or Joey Bosa, about to get cut. Justin Reed about to get cut. All that, and much, much more. Right here on Man Hour NFL Talk. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. This is a live, interactive show. Be feel free to comment down below. Comments are encouraged. Be feel to talk your stuff. But definitely, most definitely, be prepared to repent yourself. Because I come at you. You can call me a clown. You can call me whatever you want. But I'm going to come right back at you. Guys, there's a link in the description below. Become a Pigskin Pundit today. It gets you some free merch. It gets you some access to the after show. It gets you to a private group. It gets you a lot of things that you do not get here on the Everyday Show. But you guys got to welcome some people into the chat here. Welcome to the chat. We got my man Arthur Brown in the chat today. Good morning, Arthur Brown. We got a little bit of Drew's in the chat as well today. What's up, Drew? Glad you are here joining us this morning. Good man. We got Nana in the chat as well. What is up, guys? What is up? If you guys are here in the chat, be sure to let me know. Let me know how your day is going. Give me a good old hashtag Man Hour Live right here this morning. But guys, it is a beautiful Tuesday morning. What is February 20th, about 10 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast time. And can this weather get any more bipolar? Let's just be honest, guys. Can this weather get any more bipolar? I know it's still February. I know it's still technically winter for, 2-3 more weeks. But damn it, Mother Nature, do not tease me with the 60-degree weather and then take it out from under my rug. Do not tease me with the snow and then take it out from under my rug. Give me one or the other. Give me some nice spring weather or give me some snow. I don't want on this 40-degree weather crap. I don't want on this 30-degree weather gap. Make it hot or make it snow, Mother Nature. That is all I ask. That is all I ask here at the end of the day, because I'm a snowbird. I love me some snow, but I also love me some spring too. Love me some spring. But guys, let's get into today's show. And what I want to talk about first here is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are starting to ruffle some Kansas City Chiefs feathers. Let's just be honest. They are starting to poke the bear per se. In a podcast, it was the Rush podcast, Max Crosby says, you know what? It is motivation when the Kansas City Chiefs went to their Super Bowl at Allegiant Stadium and they painted the walls red and yellow, red and gold. He says, you know what? It is motivation. I guess, it is what it is. But guess what, guys? Who was the last team to beat that team, though? It was us. Who was the last team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Matt Crosby says it was us. These dudes, these Las Vegas Raiders right here in this locker room. They did that, so it's okay. It's cool. Like I told them, we will run it back and we will see again. They got to see us. They got to see them, and we already given the recipe how to do it. So when I look at these comments from Max Crosby, Antonio Pierce, you guys realize that you have not been relevant for a very, very long time. You guys realize that you have just been a mediocre team for a very, very, very long time. The simple fact of the matter is this. The Las Vegas Raiders are trying to take a playbook out of the Dallas Cowboys off-season playbook, right? What is so great about the Dallas Cowboys is we talk about them nonstop. It could be middle of March Madness and Jerry Jones can say something off the wall and guess what? They're headline news. That is what the Las Vegas Raiders are ultimately trying to do right now. So when I see Max Crosby and Antonio Pierce saying this stuff, saying we've already given them the recipe of how to do it, don't you think the Kansas City Chiefs know this in the back of their head? Don't you think the Kansas City Chiefs know, like, hey, you know what? They did beat us Christmas Day. They got to us. They flushed us. We threw back-to-back pick sixes. We get it. But let's just be honest. Without those 2 pick sixes, the Las Vegas Raiders wouldn't have won that game. They would not have won that game. So their defense definitely won the game. So to say that they had the recipe to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, we'll see. I would love to see this as an opening day game. On Thursday, September 12th or whatever the kickoff date is, give me the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Las Vegas Raiders at Arrowhead. Give me it. Las Vegas Raiders talking on that shit, talking all that smack, time to back it up. Don't let them wait till week 8, week 9, week 10 when either team can use, we were injured, we were tired, whatever, right? Don't give me no excuses. Give me it week 1, baby. Give me it week 1. So, guys, let me ask you this question. If the formula legitimately has been planted to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the Vegas Raiders said that they have put out the recipe, the formula, the blueprint to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, why did nobody do it after Christmas Day? Why did nobody, quote, follow that recipe? Why did nobody, follow that blueprint? Just because you have the recipe, just because you have the blueprint, doesn't mean that team is not going to adjust to it. It does not mean that that team is not going to say, hey, you know what? Our passing game, our pass offensive line protection this particular game sucked. Let's fix that. We forgot to run the ball this last game. Let's fix that. That is what is so great about the Kansas City Chiefs right now. We've seen them high flying, put up 30, 40 points in a game back in 2018, 2019, 2020, right? Now, all of a sudden, they are a ground and pound team. You don't know what team you're going to get from week in to week out. Are they going to put up 40? Are they going to put up 16? Is the defense going to win it that game? Is the offense going to win it that game? That is why the Kansas City Chiefs are so great. That is why they are the most dangerous team in the playoffs, because you didn't know who you were going to get. They never showed their A game once until playoff time. And bada bing, bada boom, what happened? They got hot. They went to the freaking Super Bowl. Vegas Raiders, calm your roll. The recipe might be out there per se, but guess what? The recipe is not going to last very long because Andy Reid's a damn good coach, Graham, good coach, and a damn great team around him. Let's jump into the chat here. Let's welcome some people into the chat. We got my man Jim Powell says, the Chiefs are so tasty as ice cube soup. They have no flavor. How did the Kansas City Chiefs have no flavor, Jim? We have a nice running attack. They have a nice passing attack. When neither of those working, Patrick Mahomes says, hold my beer, let me scramble this dad bod up the field for 40 yards. The Kansas City Chiefs are the most dangerous team ever out there right now. As currently constructed right now, they are a dangerous team out there. There's a reason why they won the Super Bowl, Jim. There's a reason why they Super Bowl. Matthew Hathorn's in the chat, the third. He said, that's because Dallas Cowboys are still America's team. Dallas Cowboys can break news in the middle of March Madness, like I said, and Matthew says that's because Dallas Cowboys are still America's team. Dallas Cowboys are America's team for a reason. Dallas Cowboys are America's team because they know how to work the media. They know how to work social media. They know how to put their names in their mouth, even though you don't want to speak about them. I think there's more Dallas Cowboys haters than there are actual fans of said team. Many people just love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. They don't have a team. They just love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. And guess what? That puts their name in their mouth over and over and over again. Jim Powell says the recipe is to stop the musician. Stop you if you can. 49ers tried. Guess what? Still didn't happen. Still didn't happen. Wayne G's in the chat. What's up, Wayne G? He says the magic formula to beat the Chiefs is pray that Mahomes has a bad game and hope God is listening to you. Listen, I feel Patrick Mahomes kind of had a bad game in that Super Bowl. I think if you look at that Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes did not have a very good game. He had spurts of greatness. He had spurts of, was it 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1? Rolled out the pocket, said, I'm going to get this first down. Spurts of put the team on your back. Even that is what makes Patrick Mahomes such a valuable quarterback, such a great quarterback per se, right? Is because when you think you have stopped X, Y, guess what? Here comes Z. Oh, you think you stopped X, Y, Z? Guess what? I'm going to bring back A, B, and C. Patrick Mahomes is so great because his floor is higher than most people's ceilings. Now, he does have a very high ceiling. He also has a very, very high floor. So even when he's playing bad, he's still playing better than 20 quarterbacks in the NFL. This season, you can say he had a very down year, stat-wise, kind of emotional-wise. Just kind of didn't really have that it factor. Guess what? He was still a top 10 quarterback in all major categories. Patrick Mahomes is the man, is the myth, is the legend. Timothy Nicholas in the chat, he says, you need a lot of luck. You need a lot of luck to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. Or momentum. Momentum is the key in a lot of NFL games. Let's just be honest. When a team gets rolling, the big MO is the X factor in every NFL game. San Francisco 49ers look back at the Super Bowl. They had that game pretty much in lock. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs were leading at that particular point. No, I take that back. The Kansas City Chiefs were down by 3 at that particular point. A muff punt by Ray McCloud changed the whole momentum of the game. Absolutely right. Momentum is very, 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 very key. Jim says the Kansas City Chiefs are like the rich assholes nobody wants around, but they buy the beer. When did the Kansas City Chiefs become the villains? Like, I know that they were talking about it during Media Row, during the Super Bowl, and many people are saying, hey, Patrick Mahomes, embrace this villain role. There is nothing like being the villain, yada, yada, yada. When did the Kansas City Chiefs become such the villain? It's because they won 3 of 5 Super Bowls. Is it because they're winning too much? Is there such thing as winning too much? Just like the Patriots. Like, I feel like everybody disliked the Patriots because they were winning too much. Now, I don't really remember the NFL prior to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots being such a dominant team, but I feel like the New England Patriots were always kind of like America's sweetheart, right? Kind of like the Browns, like, hey, we'll root for you, but we know you're never going to win it. But then they start winning it. Drew Bledsoe took him to the Super Bowl. A couple years later, Tom Brady wins them a Super Bowl, wins them another Super Bowl, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. Like, at what point does a team become a villain? Is it 2 Super Bowls in 3 years? Is it 3 and 5? Is it back-to-back? Is it 2 out of 3 years? Like at what point does a team become a villain? I'm just kind of curious, like of that. Wayne G also says, lose Tyreek Hill, win the MVP. Receiver drops all the passes, win the Super Bowl. You cannot slow this guy down. The only time I've seen Patrick Mahomes really get slowed down is when he dislocated his knee. It was his first year starting, wasn't it? Because it was Lamar Jackson's second year, so it was Patrick Mahomes' first year starting, right? Dislocated his kneecap in December, missed 3-4 games, and even then he came back bigger, better than like ever. Like I don't think even injuries can really slow this guy down. Is it going to be like Tom Brady? The older he got, the better he got, the better looking he got, the prettier his wife got. Like, Patrick Mahomes is going to be a very, very hated man for many, many years to come. Timothy says, no, Chiefs were lucky or had momentum. Not for sure what you're talking about there. Jim Powell says the Chiefs aren't villains, but they are not liked because of the success. In no way are the Chiefs the villains. If you prey on somebody's downfall, you wish them nothing but ill will. You wish them nothing but to lose the game. You wish them nothing to but injuries and this and this and this. Isn't that kind of like of your villain? Isn't that kind of your kryptonite? Isn't that kind of like your hey, I don't like you, but I don't want you to do this or this or this. I think that is the definition of a villain, if I'm not mistaken, Jim. If I'm not mistaken, that's the definition of a villain. Somebody that comes in and steals your success, steals your woman, steals your money, does this, and is consistently successful, and you pray for their downfall, that is a villain. Take me back to 9th grade English class. I believe that's your antagonist. Right? You are the main character. Raiders, Chargers, Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, Bengals, and your antagonist is the Kansas City Chiefs. Your antagonist is the Kansas City Chiefs. That makes me the villain. But guys, let me know. Do you think the Las Vegas Raiders are barking up the wrong tree? Are they barking up the wrong tree by calling out the Kansas City Chiefs? Should they stay in their own lane? Should they worry about the bottom feeders like the Broncos and the Chargers in the AFC West? Worry about beating those teams and then worry about the big dog. Worry about beating the peasants, then come after the king. Do you guys think that? Or are they doing the correct thing? Are they doing the correct thing and making the Kansas City Chiefs think about them all off season? Are they doing the correct thing and making the Kansas City Chiefs circle that game on the calendar? I mean, the game's already circled as is. Raiders versus Chiefs, probably a top 5 rivalry of all time in the NFL. Actually, let's take it one step further, guys. Let's take it one step further. Give me top 5 rivalries in the NFL. When you think of NFL and you think of said matchup, you're thinking, man, that's going to be a great game. No matter the record, no matter what. Off the top of my head, number 1, I got to go Packers-Bears. That is the longest standing rivalry, I think, in the NFL of all time. And Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love still owns the Bears recently, but I think the overall record's probably damn near pretty close. They've been playing for 100 some odd years. They just hate each other. Number 2, probably thinking Chiefs Raiders, right? You have the Gannon going from Kansas City to Oakland, winning an MVP, winning a Super Bowl. You have Marcus Allen going from Los Angeles Raiders at the time to the Kansas City Chiefs. You have coaches flip-flopping teams. Those teams hate each other. The black hole was the really good black hole. So we got Packers, Bears, Chiefs, Raiders. Next up, probably Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys. Actually, probably anybody in the NFC versus the Dallas Cowboys, because the Dallas Cowboys are America's team, and the NFC East consistently gets pounded down by the Dallas Cowboys. So anybody in the NFC versus them, right? And then you probably got Ravens versus Steelers. Always got a nice head-hunting battle, game after game after game. Love those rivalries. And probably the 49ers versus the Rams. When you live like within, 2 hours of each other, you're going to hate each other. It is what it is. Jim says, let's go ahead and jump back over to the chat here. Singing, I heard the bells on Christmas Day. Google it. That song was before 1980s. What the hell? I have no idea. I remember when a no-name Ayers used to talk smack about Kobe or Jordan. Usually worked out for them well, right? Yeah. About that. I actually, so it was Mama Day, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think it is now. It seems like it's been forever ago, but it hasn't. But I heard a great story about Michael Jordan versus Kobe. Kobe particularly had a good night against Michael Jordan that sad night. Kobe Bryant was wearing some Jordan 6s like at the time. Michael Jordan walked up to Kobe and said, "Those are nice shoes, but you'll never be able to fill them." Apparently that pissed Kobe off very, very much so. The next time that they played each other, Kobe Bryant schooled Michael Jordan. So trash talk does fire up some people, fire them up a lot, but it is what it is. Jim says Green Bay has a 107-95 victory. I got it, Hoffy. Yeah, guys. So Hoffy will be taking some time off. His baseball season starts. So you gotta put effort that head coaching position at the old local high school to play some baseball. But guys, let's get into some Overreaction Tuesday. It is time for a little bit of Overreaction Tuesday. Here on Tuesdays on Man Hour, we like to overreact to statements that have been out there. We like to overreact to or underreact, or we determine it's the overreaction or underreaction about some things out there that are being circulated across the landscape. Some things that are like, what? What the what? Right? Make you scratch your head a little bit. And the first one I want to talk about is about Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb. Guys, Nick Chubb has made 4 straight Pro Bowls before suffering a very, very bad knee and injury last season in week 2. At the ripe age of 28, he is fresh off his second major knee surgery. Nick Chubb has a $15.8 million cap hit in 2024, which is the 3rd highest among running backs, and the Browns are projected to be $20 million over the salary cap. So we got to ask this question, guys. Is it an overreaction or an underreaction that the Cleveland Browns will be cutting Nick Chubb this offseason? When you think of Nick Chubb, you think of a very, very bruising back. You think of a back that is going to give you 80, 90 yards every game, no matter who team you're playing against. No matter what the situation, he is going to give you that milk and cookies, right? But guys, $15.8 million against the cap hit this season. The Browns are projected $20 million over the cap thanks to Deshaun Watson. Guys, it is not an overreaction that Nick Chubb is going to be a free agent this season. This is not an overreaction at all. There are going to be a lot of free agent running backs this season. Just to think of a few off the top of my head, you have Zeke, you have Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, right? Just to name a few. All very, very good running backs that you could probably get for fairly cheap. That is what is bad about Nick Chubb's $15.8 million cap hit. Not saying he's a bad running back whatsoever. He's probably definitely top 3, top 4 running back in the NFL right now, even coming off that knee injury. He is still the man, the myth, the legend. But the simple fact of the matter is the running back position is kind of obsolete. When I say obsolete is you really don't use and abuse your back until you get to the postseason. The NFL is about who can score 30 points the fastest. And running the ball does not get you 30 points. Unless you're King Henry and the Tennessee Titans like 3 years ago. Guys, it is not an overreaction that Nick Chubb will be a free agent this offseason. It is not an overreaction at all. Unfortunately, salary cap cuts happen all the time, and Nick Chubb is going to be the next one that is up. It is not an overreaction. Let's go ahead and jump into the chat. And Wayne G says it is an underreaction. Running backs should not take up that much cap space, especially after that knee injury. You are 100% correct, Wayne G. I actually just posted up Terrell Davis's picture on our Facebook wall and said this is the most overrated Hall of Famer of all time. Do I believe that? Do I not believe that? Stay tuned to the after show and find out. But Terrell Davis had a 7-year NFL career. 3 of those years he played like 3 games, maybe tops. He had 4 really, really good seasons. 2 great seasons. Simple fact of the matter is he was getting paid about $3 million a season. King Henry, 2,000 yards, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. On top of the world. Got that bread, got a deal, and guess what? Hasn't broke 1,000 yards since. Running backs are a dime a dozen in this NFL, guys. Sorry to say it. Sorry, Zeke. Sorry, Saquon. Sorry, DeAndre. Sorry, Josh Jacobs. Nobody is going to pay running backs $15, $16, $18, $20 million anymore. Zeke Elliott got his deal. Well, he was making $20 million a year, right? He got cut. Got his bag, didn't perform after that. I think Wayne G's right. You never want to pay a running back. I've actually gone off many times saying that you never draft a running back in the first round. Now I'm kind of taking a few steps back on that. Now maybe you do draft a running back in the first round. Get him for 5 years, franchise tag him the next, let him walk the next year, bada bing, bada boom. You get 6 years out of a running back on a rookie deal. Instead of paying a running back $15 million to get 4 years out of them, you're paying them $900,000 to get 6 years out of them. It is what it is. It is what it is. Jim said the cap is projected to be $250 million instead of $225 million. And that is why the Browns are actually only $20 million over the cap instead of $80 million over the cap, whatever it was. The Browns are in cap hell. Cap hell. Timothy says maybe he'll take a pay cut just to stay. Huh. Would you take a pay cut to stay with the Cleveland Browns? Let's think about this logically here. Let's think about this as a potential running back, right? I'm 28 years old, well past the prime of my running back life. Let's just be honest. I've had 2 major knee surgeries in the last, 5 years. I want to go to a team, if I'm going to take a pay cut, which I will probably have to take a pay cut to play in the NFL, whether it be franchise tag, which is like $10 million, $11 million, or sign like a 1-year prove it deal like Dalvin Cook did, which ultimately backfired on him. I'm going to go to a team that is going to potentially be a Super Bowl contender. Now, we all know the Browns made the playoffs last season. We all know the Browns went through 4 quarterbacks last season and still had the coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski and still made the playoffs. They got beat down in the playoffs, but there's going to be a lot of turnover in Cleveland. There's going to be a lot of turnover. Myles Garrett is up for a contract. You don't know their wide receiver situation, Amari Cooper, right? Et cetera. But if I am Nick Chubb, and if I'm going to take a pay cut, I'm going to go to a team that potentially has a chance to win the Super Bowl. That is going to treat me right, kind of give me the carries that I deserve, whatever. Use me and abuse me in the postseason, just the way I like it. But I'm looking at a team like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm looking like a team like the Chargers, right? The Chargers are. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to run the piss out of Austin Eckler if he stays. You are looking for a team like that. You are not looking for the Browns, unfortunately. Sorry, Browns fans. You had your nice little glory run. Going to probably miss the playoffs in 2024. Let's just be honest. Wayne G says, never, ever, ever do you draft a running back in the first round. Cheaper to get them in rounds 2 or later. You still get them 4 years before their career is on a downside. You are correct, Wayne G, but I don't know exactly how the draft salary cap works. Obviously, the lower you go down in the draft, the more guaranteed money you can pay them. Thanks to Sam Bradford, right? Got that crazy deal by the Rams. They're like, whoa, we can't let this happen. But if you think about it, an average career for a NFL running back is 6 to 7 years. Draft him in the second round, get them 4 years, maybe franchise tag them for a year, prove it to me, let them walk. Wayne G, you are probably right. You are probably right. Jim says pay cut. Not when 30 other teams' ears perk up when they hear the name Nick Chubb, surgery or not. When I hear the name Nick Chubb, my ears do perk up a little bit. Whoa, Nick Chubb, a free agent? What? But then you see the last couple seasons, injuries. You still see a very dominant, powerful runner. But when was Nick Chubb at his best? When he had his Robin, when he had his Kareem Hunt. When Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb were a duo, very, very, very powerful. Just like Zeke. When Zeke had Tony Pollard, nice little powerful duo. It seems like every running back to be successful right now needs their yang to their yang. Needs a little bit of Batman to Robin. Needs a little bit of peanut butter to jelly. Needs a little bit of Mario to Luigi. If you want to sign Nick Chubb, it's going to cost you probably. Which many teams that need a running back or want a running back are not going to be Super Bowl worthy. Let's just be honest. And I think Nick Chubb wants to win a ring. When you want to win a ring, you're going to have a dual running back system. Nick Chubb to Kansas City Chiefs. Nah, Derrick Henry's going to the Chiefs, but this besides the point. Timothy says, if Watson gets it together, they might be in the Super Bowl. I disagree. We have been saying this for 3 years now, right? Oh, he just needs to work off the rust. He was looking great the last game of the season when the other team sat all their starters. Oh, right. Last season. Oh, he just needs to work off the rust, though. He hasn't played in, since last season like everybody else. He just needs to work off some rust. Looked great for a game. Was it against who was it against? Was it the Bengals? Can't remember. Looked great. Very next game he got hurt. Okay. Separated shoulder or whatever it was. At this point, I have no stock in Deshaun Watson whatsoever. If I am a Browns fan, if I am any type of Deshaun Watson fan, I'm thinking like, man, this guy had the world given to him in Houston. For whatever reason, wanted out of Houston, whether it's because the massages were actually catching up to him, didn't actually like the ownership. It was a very, very weird dynamic in Houston. Signs a $100 million deal. Not even 6 months later, he wants out. Why? That seems weird. But I think Deshaun Watson, guys, has kind of been a has-been, right? He had a great little run in Houston, 3-4 years. Took him to the playoffs. I think Deshaun Watson's tenure in the NFL has come to an end before it really got to begin, right? I have no faith in Deshaun Watson right now at all. None at all. Jim Powell says that's my point. I think Pacheco wouldn't like it. So when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, the last 2 seasons, when Isaiah Pacheco was drafted in the 5th or 6th round, maybe in the 7th round, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire was on his 2nd year of his deal, 3rd year on his deal. Former first overall pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs had 3 running backs in that system at that particular time. They had Clyde. They had Jarrett McKinnon. And then they also had Isaiah Pacheco. They actually had Sky Moore listed as a running back as well for like a little while there. So I think that Isaiah Pacheco would definitely warrant a yin to his yang, a peanut butter to his jelly, his Mario to his Luigi. I think Isaiah Pacheco knows that he needs help. I mean, he could probably do it all by himself as long as he keeps his freaking helmet on and doesn't get a concussion. But I think every running back knows that they want help in the backfield because it prolongs their career, right? If Isaiah Pacheco does rush for 300, 400 times next season, he is not a big body guy, but he runs like a big body guy, runs downhill, runs through guys, runs very, very angry, right? That's going to wear and tear on his body. He's actually already been injured, what was it, week 12, week 13. Not besides the concussion, but he already had like a separated shoulder, some type of ankle injury. So his running style is already starting to take a toll on him. So the Kansas City Chiefs will be smart to bring in a second running back, either via draft or free agency. But I do think Clyde Edwards-Helaire does walk for the Kansas City Chiefs as well. But let's get into the next overreaction, guys, here on this beautiful Tuesday edition of Man Hour Radio. Head over to NFLtoday.co. That is live over there. We got APIs lined up for you guys right there. You got stats, you got scores, you got all the other stuff happening over at NFLtoday.com. But another team that is well over the cap are the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are in cap hell right now. They are about $80 million over the cap heading into 2024. There are two players that are up for the cap cut casualties, per se. One of them being Joey Bosa. He has a $36.6 million cap hit, and Khalil Mack has a $38.5 million cap hit. Joey Bosa has struggled to stay healthy over the last couple seasons. Meanwhile, Khalil Mack has posted a career-high 17 sacks just last season. Downfall, Khalil Mack does turn 33 in 2024. Obviously, if we live in an ideal situation, in an ideal world, you restructure both of their contracts, bring your cap down, because you got other players to sign, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen as well. But would it be an overreaction to see Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack get released in 2024 and or other? Which one? One of them or both of them? Guys, this is another situation where you're kind of like up against the clock, right? You are up against Father Time. What Bill Belichick did in his prime was he would get players out before, their prime was on the decline. He got them off at the very peak and shipped them out of town. And he also brought players in that he thought could fit his system very, very, very well. Right now, guys, Joey Bosa would not surprise me one bit if he got released. Same thing with Khalil Mack. Guys, this is not an overreaction. I think both of these guys could potentially get released this offseason. There's a new head coach. There's a new regime in town, and by the name of Jim Harbaugh. And he wants to bring in his guys. He wants to bring in his coaching staff, his players, his way. He's there for 10 years, right? It is not a smart idea to start your tenure off with the fourth steepest salary cap hit of $45.1 million over the cap heading into 2024. It is tough. Joey Bosa has not been living up to the hype. Let's just be honest. He got his deal, hasn't done shit since. Would not surprise you one bit if he got released. Khalil Mack, 33. Sorry, brother. Father Time is still undefeated. You're probably out as well. On the bright side, this is a very edge rusher heavy free agency, right? You have Josh Allen from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Bryce Huff from the Jets. You have Danielle Hunter, just to name a few. So with that being said, the market is going to be kind of convoluted, right? It's going to really lower the value of those guys. So when you release Joey Bosa and a Khalil Mack, there are going to be other couple out there that you could probably get for kind of cheap, right? You can get Chase Young. He's a free agent. Bud Dupree. He's a free agent. How about Clowney? He's a free agent as well. So you can probably get those guys for around 7, 8, $9 million on the high end. Release your, $36.6 million and $38.55 million of release against the cap hit. Bring in those guys, and I don't think you would miss a beat, to be honest. Chase Young is gonna you sign him on a 1-year prove it deal. Bud Dupree kind of on the downside of his career. Jadeveon Clowney's been team hopping for the last couple seasons. You give those guys prove it deals, $6, $7, $8 million tops. Bada bing, bada boom. You replace Joey Bosa because your best ability is availability, and right now he has not been available for the Chargers at all. And Khalil Mack, he's getting old. It is what it is. But I think it is not an overreaction. I think the Chargers will cut Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. I think they're both out. Let's jump over into the chat here. Wayne G says those two plus Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have $30 million caps hits. Cut all 4, save $81 million, and bada bing, bada boom, you're under the cap. Exactly right. The Chargers are in cap hell. Mike Williams, another person that is never on the field. Incredible talent, never on the field. I believe at some point I saw a stat where Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams have only been on the field for a total like 10% of the snaps of their whole careers, like as a group. That is tough. When you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, supposed to be the rival to Patrick Mahomes in the division, supposed to be a top 10 quarterback, hasn't done shit. Injured, right? Keenan Allen, pretty good receiver. I do like me some Keenan Allen. Mike Williams hasn't been on the field long enough to know what he is going to do. It is tough. But do you cut all 4? I don't think you can cut all 4. You can cut Mike Williams. You can cut Joey. You can cut Mac. But I think you got to keep Keenan Allen. I'm not for sure Keenan Allen's age, but I feel, he feel like he's been in the league for a while. He's probably 6, 7 years in the league, if I'm not mistaken. But I think you got to keep Keenan Allen. If not, the Chiefs are going to be chopping at the bends to get him some Keenan Allen. Let's just be honest. Let's see what happens. First game against the Raiders, says Jim. Last season had 6 sacks. He warrants a look, even if it's a 1-year deal. Either one of those dudes are feeding on max energy, gets me chubby a little. Who are you referring to there, Jim? I don't know who the Raiders played first last season, but Josh Allen, Bryce Huff, and Danielle Hunter are all very, very good players. That's why I think Clowney will definitely walk from the Browns, and I think that is why the 49ers will ultimately walk away from Chase Young as well. He's talking about Mac. Yeah, Mac, like I said, Mac had a great year, 17 sacks last season. That is a career high. Father Time is still undefeated, 33 years old. Unfortunately, that is old in the NFL. We got spoiled by Tom Brady being like 45 and playing out there. We got spoiled by that. Let's just be honest. About 35, 36 is probably about the point where you're like, it's hard for me to wake up in the morning. It's hard for me to want to go to practice. It's hard for me to want to prepare for this game. It is what it is. And I think Mac is kind of in the boat right now where he is like, you know what? I've been in this league long enough. I've played with 2, 3 terrible franchises, as in the Raiders and the Bears and now the Chargers. I would warrant a release and have like a little free agent circus like Odell Beckham Jr. did this last off season, and let me pick and choose the team that I want to play for. Let me go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me go to the 49ers. Let me go to the Dallas Cowboys. Let me pick and choose what team I want to go to. Yeah, money's nice. but the nice fat ring on my hand's a lot nicer. There's a lot of teams, there's a lot of players right now that are getting up in age that are going to be ring hunting. Derrick Henry, Khalil Mack, Keenan Allen. Timothy says, Chargers work it out and win the AFC West. Timothy's going out on a ledge there and says the Chargers are winning the West. They're not going to cut Joey. They're not going to cut Khalil Mack. They're not going to cut Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. They're going to restructure all four of those guys, get under the cap, and win the AFC West. Still got to work out a deal with Austin Eckler, too. What? Listen, on paper, every year, the Los Angeles Chargers have one of the best teams in the NFL. On paper, last season, I actually had the Chargers competing for the West Division with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'd have to look back, but I believe I had them at like 11 wins and the Chiefs at like 12. The problem is the Chargers have the curse of we're afraid to be good. We are afraid to compete for a championship. We are afraid to have that pressure on us, Ricky Bobby. That is why the Chargers stuck with Brandon Staley for so long. He should have been fired 2-3 years ago. His first year should have been gone. But they stuck with him because they were happy with just being mediocre. They were happy just good enough to put asses in the seats and make a little bit of money. Now, will Jim Harbaugh be okay with that? Probably not. That's why Jim Harbaugh will probably only last there for maybe 3-4 years. The ownership and Jim Harbaugh is going to rub each other the wrong way, and Jim Harbaugh is going to retire or quit or whatever. They won't fire him because they don't have to be all that guaranteed cash, right? But he'll have to retire or do something. But it is what it is. The Chargers are just afraid to win, I think. Jim says the Raiders have made a $1 billion franchise trading from past sorry, let me repeat that. The Raiders have made a $1 billion franchise trading for past players past their prime. Who have they trade? I mean, Rich Gannon is the only person I can think of. They didn't use Marcus Allen correctly, which was stupid. I guess you can think of Jerry Rice, maybe. I don't know. The best dope must be available to Chargers fans. Not wrong. Final one of the day that I want to talk about here. Let's stick in the AFC West. Let's talk a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs and Justin Reid. Justin Reid is at a 10.8 cap hit this particular season, and if he is released by March 1st of the NFL deadline here, he will save the Kansas City Chiefs $10.8 million in cap room. The Kansas City Chiefs have to sign Ja'Jarius Sneed, or Chris Jones this offseason. They have to bring one of those two guys back, and Justin Reid gives them the flexibility to work that deal. So, guys, would it be an overreaction or an underreaction if Justin Reid does get released by the Kansas City Chiefs? When I started thinking about this, I'm thinking like, hey, man, we needed some Justin Reid. I love me some Justin Reid. I just bought the man's jersey. Of course, they're going to release him, right? But the Kansas City Chiefs have had a habit of letting high-profile defenders kind of walk, right? Most recent person comes to mind is the Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu was a heart and soul of the Kansas City Chiefs defense for 2 of their Super Bowl runs. He was the